Don Jr. says climate insanity. Biden administration wants to end all fossil fuels. What? He wants to insanity. He wants to end all fossil fuels. End our dependence on them. Wouldn't it be nice if we didn't have to use them? I don't understand but he wants to end them. He wants to stop other people from doing it. He's going to end them. This is crazy. Obviously, we'll jump right in.
Reduce plastic waste in our environment.
America's beverage companies
I don't care.
are carefully designing our bottles
it's so
to be
loud.
100% recyclable.
Too loud.
That means every bottle that's recycled
can
be turned
It's
to
not
material
true.
we use to make new
That's
bottles.
not factually
Please help
correct.
us get every bottle back.
No, I'm going to try, but that's terrible.
Well, guys.
Okay, well, guys, hold on. He's super loud. Wait 1 second. Let me dial this back. Well, guys, I basically am a walking mosquito bite. I just ran through a sprinkler to tell you this. I'm inside the mosquito guy now. I should be safe, but if there's a buzzing, you don't hear that? All right. Well, guys.
As many of you know, I've been saying for a while, like, it would be almost impossible at
It would be almost impossible to what?
this point to believe that someone trying to do something good for America would be making the decisions that the Biden administration is making. And this is just another example.
Yes, if you cared about this country, you would want us as tied to fossil fuels as possible.
Check out this video. Peter Doocy asked the press secretary, Joe Biden once said he's going to end...
Wait, this is a 3-minute clip, and we're just going to watch 2 minutes of Peter Doocy? Fuck that.
Fossil fuels. Is that now off the table? The answer is no. They're going to go forward with their clean energy agenda. As Americans are getting crushed, and trust me, I understand this. If I'm the son of a billionaire and it pisses me off.
If you are. Yeah, that's a big if.
When I'm filling up my car.
Yes, we don't believe you're the son of a billionaire. We think that's hilarious. You're hilariously not the son of a billionaire. Or you're the son of the stingiest billionaire in existence.
I can only imagine what it's like for people who's...
Yes, that's true. You can only imagine what it's like for people, not being one. Being basically a mound of coke in a red shirt.
Maybe changing the entire way they exist right now to decide, well, are we going to go on a trip or can I go to work? Can I afford to do these things?
Well, yeah, if you got to go to work, I would advise against the trip right now. I'm just saying your boss might have a problem with it. Should I just get in a Winnebago and disappear? Or should I continue to support my family? I mean, not every one of us can leave their family and go hang out with one of the women they meet at Fox News. But normals...
Think about it. In the midst of all of this insanity...
Again, why are you wearing an earpiece? You're not responding to a video.
In the midst of the terrible decision-making process that brought us rampant inflation, insane fuel prices, when we were energy independent under my father...
Under my father. That's why we were making so much energy, my father had to go to Saudi Arabia and muscle them into cutting production and make them sign an agreement with Russia and Venezuela and other countries to do it. My father.
They're not even thinking about letting their foot off the throats of the American people who are getting crushed amongst all this other stuff.
You mean like the guy with the wheelbarrow in the background who's working for a living while you're coked off your ass in air-conditioned comfort?
They're just going to keep going forward. It's literally hard for me to comprehend at this point.
Well, that's true of most things.
It's hard for me to comprehend at this point.
You just said that.
Are they doing it on purpose?
Yes, they're perfect. When they have a strategy, you purposefully do it.
I can't even fathom.
Yes, we get that. You can't even... Right.
An administration who would try to be doing something good for America could continue with these policies. Check it out for yourself.
So,
yeah, I got to believe it. And it's Doocy, so let's see.
I know the president once said that he was going to end fossil fuel. Is that now off the table?
No, we are going to continue to move forward with our clean energy proposal, our climate change proposal.
Man, do you really think that this...
Yeah, well, that settles it. My mind is boggled as well. First of all, Steve Doocy, false statement. Biden never said he was going to end fossil fuels. He was going to end our dependence on fossil fuels. I think it was one of the primary targets. And of course, net zero, these guys have a difficulty comprehending what net zero means versus zero. But that part where we're going to keep working on our climate goals, and of course we are.
Is an administration that's trying to do good for the American people? Or are they trying to force feed you your radical agenda? Guess what? If you get bankrupt, if you lose your house, your family, hey, guess you'll be dependent on big government. You could be dependent on Democrats for the rest of your life.
Yeah, that's what we are. It's all a big plot. The green energy future is a big plot to make everyone dependent, so we all line up for a bowl of gruel. This has nothing to do with not being involved in the tumultuous fossil fuel market, which, like I've said many times, I've said many times, if you'll look at every single recession we've had, including 2008, by the way, it was preceded by a bizarre spike and drop in oil prices. Wouldn't it be nice if we didn't actually have to give a shit at all about the ups and downs of that market unless you invest in those markets? Then that's on you. But the general health of the economy not being based on some sort of resource that comes and goes in its availability and its refinability.
Win-win for them. They don't care if they destroy freedom, democracy, liberty. You see all those things clearly have been on the table for the last few years.
Well, yeah, during your dad, obviously he was big. He was in charge of the lockdowns initially. I mean, most of the lockdowns and certainly the most draconian ones happened under your dad. So there goes that for him. He's the guy who shut down the churches, if I'm not mistaken.
Democrats don't want you to have those things. They couldn't care less.
They don't have a guy.
We'll find a government program for you. You'll vote for us for the rest of eternity.
Yeah, again, I can't comprehend this argument.
But as Americans are getting crushed, as there's a baby formula shortage in
No, actually, there isn't now. That's been remedied. That's a dead talking point.
America, they wouldn't even think to mitigate one of the biggest costs and expenses for the...
Yes. Now, yeah, it's because we stopped the Keystone XL pipeline, there's no oil to put in baby formula. It's not that the baby formula was from that one plant was toxic. It was just there was insufficient amounts of coal dust in it.
The American public, especially rural, hardworking, and blue-collar Americans.
You know those people, the people you never go anywhere near unless you're on a stage in front of them milking them for money.
You have to drive to work. Don't have a choice. Right? You can't afford $5 gas. Go buy a $75,000 electric vehicle. That'll solve the problem. Minor details. How are you going to charge that if we're already pushing our power grid beyond the brink? Let's just
well, not all of us are in Texas.
Had a few million electric vehicles. What could go wrong? By the way, the lithium ions batteries that are being put in there, the rare earth minerals that have to get mined by almost bordering on, let's call it slave labor.
What?
All over the place where there's...
Yeah, slave labor all over the place.
No environmental controls. It's not a
You mean where your sister gets all of her clothes sewn?
Consideration. It doesn't mean anything.
You know where your dad got all of his MAGA gear made?
Because it's all crap, guys. It's all crap.
All right, well then okay. Thank you for putting it in a concise way that we can all understand.
That's what you're going to get, and you're going to keep getting it from this administration. Sick.
With thunderous administration, what?
It's not a consideration. It doesn't mean anything because it's all crap, guys. It's all crap. That's what you're going to get, and you're going to keep getting it from this administration.
It was with from this administration altogether in a jam. Yeah. Okay. Well, I think we've all learned. I've grown as a person. The idea, I guess where was this? Where was the Steve Ducey clip? It was in here somewhere. Yeah, this little bit right here. He said he was going to end fossil fuel. No, we're going to keep working on our climate goals. Yeah, end of the world. Hey, if you, what is it? 522 rumbles, 3 minutes, 608 views. I mean, dude's living the life. At least he's not, the good thing is, at least he's not staying in his father's properties. I would say that there was I would say that there's a base point where, where at least he doesn't fall below, which is a grown man continuing to suck off the teat of his father, who's like elephants holding tails, doing it to their dead grandfather's business. Yeah, this is and I'm proud to be an American, where at least I know I'm inside a air-conditioned villa on my father's golf course property while other people are working in the hot sun outside. And thank God I kept the mosquito netting up so that these nasty bugs don't bother me the way they're seizing on these poor folks. But, it's a dream, not, we're all jealous. Let's just let's be honest about this. We all wish that we could effectively have our, almost like I would say a communist lifestyle where, obviously instead of Big Brother, it was just Big Papa paying for everything, obviously by milking maggots, bleeding them dry. And that you could all just live in the, air-conditioned comfort of a golf course, whatever that, cabana. I don't know what these things are. And then while you're doing that, of course, all you got, what other bills do you have? Keep your phone on so you can make your Rumble videos and jack up those Rumbles for some Coke money, baby. You're done. And all you got to, can you imagine if this was what your workday was like? Keep in mind, this asshole is supposedly a real estate developer. Have you heard of a single groundbreaking ceremony on a Trump property? I don't know when the last one I think the only one I even heard of that was a rumor was the big vagina tower in the Middle East, right? Remember that thing? Hold on. Big Trump vagina tower in Middle East, whatever that building was. And yeah, there it is. All I had, Jesus Christ. Here it is. This is the last building and it's Azerbaijan. This is in 2017. Donald Trump's worst deal. I think one of my favorite moments ever in the history of journalism was watching our beloved lesbian television anchor person, Rachel Maddow, describe this building on air. By the way, it looks great. It also faces squalor and dust. Yeah, the Trump Tower Baku never opened. Trump partnered with an Azerbaijan family that U.S. officials called notoriously unethical. Well, no wonder. I mean, it was match made in heaven. Haydar Aliyev Prospekti. Haydar. Just call him Haydar. A broad avenue in Baku, the capital of Azerbaijan, connects the airport to the city. The road is meant to highlight Baku's recent modernization and is lined with sleek new buildings. The Haydar Aliyev Center, an undulating wave of concrete and glass, was designed by Zaha Hadid. The state oil company is housed in a twisting glass tower, and the headquarters of the state water company looks like a giant water droplet. It's like Potemkin, my translator told me. It's the only buildings right next to the road. Behind the gleaming structures stand decaying Soviet-era apartment blocks with clothes hanging out of the windows and wallboards exposed by fallen brickwork. As you approach the city center, it's a dream come true. A tower at the end of the avenue looms in front of you, 33 stories high and curved to resemble a giant vagina. The building was clearly inspired, was it, by the Burj Al Arab Hotel in Dubai, which is boxier and less elegant and less vaginal. This is from the George O'Keeffe collection. When I visited Baku in December, 5 enormous white letters glowed at the top of the tower. The Trump vagina. The Baku vagina. The building, a 5-star hotel and residence called the Trump International Hotel and Tower Baku, has never opened. Though from the road it looks ready to welcome the public. Reaching the property is surprisingly difficult. The tower stands amid a welter of on-ramps, off-ramps, and overpasses. During the 9 days I was in town, I went to the site a half a dozen times, and on each occasion I had a comical exchange with a taxi driver who had no idea which combination of turns would lead to the building's entrance. It's like the fucking thing was designed by the insurrectionists. Drag them out! The more I spent in the neighborhood, the more I wondered how the hotel could have been imagined as a viable business. It almost looks like a money laundering scheme. The development was conceived in 2008 as a high-end apartment building. In 2012, after Donald Trump's company, the Trump Organization, signed multiple contracts with the Azerbaijani developers behind the project, plans were made to transform the tower into an ultra-luxury property. So it was already existent. They just, again, this is just a branding thing. They're going to change the towels, and that's it. According to Trump Organization press release, a hotel with expansive guest rooms would occupy the first 13 floors. Higher floors would feature residents with spectacular views of the city and the Caspian Sea and squalor. For an expensive hotel, the Trump Tower Baku is an oddly unglamorous location. The underdeveloped eastern end of downtown, which is dominated by train tracks and is miles from the main business district on the west side of the city. Across the street from the hotel is a discount shopping center. The area is filled with narrow, dingy shops and hookah bars. Other hotels nearby are low-budget options, and the AYF Palace, most rooms are $42 a night. There are no upscale restaurants or shops. Any guest at the Trump Tower Baku would likely feel marooned. Oh, God. CNX Tower. What kind of buildings does this face bring you? Big Vagina Tower. Welcome to Vagina Towers. Wow, what happened? Closed all my screens. Get back up here, silly. Get back up here. Okay, there we go. All right. Sorry, I moved this over here. Get back to where we were. He's bordering on Harpo at this point. Yeah, you can screen grab that. That's fine. But when do they build shit? When we keep seeing that same stack of unfinished work in his office when he's there, if he's there. Most of the time he's out in the dicking around his dad's properties, doing like these little 3-minute videos as his life now.